Hi, my name is Robert Sadowski, and today we're going to walk you through how to migrate from either a local or remote instance of ES6i into Accelerate using a Nutanix Migration Appliance. So the first thing we're going to do is physically install the appliance alongside the current infrastructure. The current infrastructure can be really anything running ES6i. Next, we're going to take that migration appliance and move it into vCenter and connect it to the on-prem network. That way we can seamlessly vMotion onto it. Next, we will do a standard vMotion of the virtual machine onto the migration appliance. If a data transfer connection hasn't already been established via a previous migration, then we'll go ahead and establish that to the target data center, such as a cloud running Accelerate. The next step is going to be to actually fail over the virtual machine. A couple things to note here. We are going to move it not into a template but directly into an instance in Accelerate. The second is the actual original data is not touched. So in the case of I want to continue to use it on-prem in some way, or I just need to fail back for whatever reason, the data is still protected on the primary side. Then the final step will be to connect the network. Some of this can be automated during the data transfer process. Others will have to connected to the software-defined networking within the cloud. So now that you've seen the steps necessary, we'll go ahead and demonstrate actually doing the movement of the virtual machine. Alright, so let's take a look at the VM we want to migrate. So go ahead and console in. Let's go ahead and add some data, just so we know that everything is getting over there and can verify that it's complete. As we can see, this is a ESX host with Windows VM running. Let's take a look and Accelerate. We can see the current instances that are already there. And let's log into the migration appliance. We can see it's running ES6i. And we're going to establish a remote connection here. We'll just go ahead and call it something along the lines of cloud. Could be really anything. And type in the IP address of the target environment. And add the site. On the next page, we're going to see a few properties. We can throttle, we can compress the connection. Here we're actually going to map. And so what that's doing is it's setting the target network and target storage system. Most importantly, that network, if you would so choose, that's a ACP generated network. So let's go ahead and test the connection, make sure we're all good, and go ahead and start setting up where we can synchronize our virtual machine data over. Now remember, this is a VMDK right now, and it's going to target an AHV disk type. That will be done on the fly. So go ahead and add our VM. You can add one or multiple VMs at a time. And we can add a schedule if we so choose. In this case, we'll just go ahead and do it ad hoc. We can now see that Windows migration is set up. Nothing's yet going on because we didn't set up a schedule, but let's go ahead and manually send over that data. So we'll go ahead and send it to the cloud. And so we can see that that data transfer has started and will shortly complete. There we go. So now we have our local copy, haven't touched that yet, but we also have from a data perspective, a copy existing in the cloud. So we can see on the target side, there's our Windows migration as well. So we can see the data associated with that. So let's go ahead and start bringing on our VM on this side. So we're going to click on Activate, which puts the virtual machine and brings it online on the cloud side. Again, we're not touching the primary side, so you can power that down at this point or continue to keep it running. Inside our VM list, we will now see VM with the same name, Windows Migrate Test. We're going to go ahead and update that to change the name to something more Accelerate friendly. In this case, i685QA. You can see the properties of it and go ahead and save. So now the last step is we're going to go into our import ACP utility. Click go. give it the proper credentials. I say that ACP friendly name, a human readable name that we want to show in ACP, the data center, and the credentials for the MySQL database that's supporting Accelerate. Click Save. We can monitor the status. Shouldn't take more than a few seconds. Showing green, that's good. Now we can go back to our Accelerate. We can see i685QA. We can also verify it has a disk. There's a root disk. Now, we did power on the virtual machine earlier, so it'll automatically pick that up and see that it's powered on. Well, let's go ahead and open a console from Accelerate. Control-Alt-Delete, username, password. And now we can see that that test data is still there. And so now you've seen how to move a VM from ESXi into Accelerate. The most important thing is the things that you didn't have to do here. You didn't have to do a conversion from a VMDK to a QCOW2. You didn't have to install special drivers or figure out special drivers. Those are all embedded in how we do that conversion. We essentially make that component invisible, but it's also extremely powerful.